Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 19th of June 2020. Just back from a farewell party for my youngest son's first grade class, and it was beautiful. It was a very nice way to say goodbye to some of the last people here before everyone goes off in their separate directions. Many people are staying next year, and many, like ourselves, are leaving, and so we're leaving here in about 2 weeks, and we're moving to Mallorca, Spain, which we look very much forward to. But at the same time, it's very sad, I think, to be leaving somewhere that you really love. Especially the Balinese people are tremendous people, very, very beautiful people. So it'll be very difficult, I think, for us to leave here, but we'll do it, and that'll be just fine. Another new adventure, so that's all very exciting. So now we're just dealing with the challenges of trying to pack down over 2 years of life into 4 30-kilo suitcases. So that's proving to be a bit of a challenge, but it's also quite beautiful as well to go through and prioritize and minimalize and give away and have a whole lot of outflow, which I think is quite a healthy endeavor. So back at the charts here, it's 20 minutes to 6 in the evening, and so I'm just going to run through some pairs, and I'm going to start with the Australian dollar, American dollar, and this is for my dear friend Philip, as requested. You mentioned in the Discord chat somewhere, I don't remember where, the message disappeared on me, but I think you mentioned the Australian dollar, American dollar, so I'm going to do this one, and then before I move on to other pairs. But looking at the monthly chart, we have entered a very deep level. So we have this one here. This was tested once. Okay, so this one's gone. And we actually went down into this area here. So we actually had a very nice, here we had a top. We had this, price tested it a couple of times, once, twice. And the origin of the move that went through, it's kind of where these accumulation candles are here. That we go like this. This is pretty much where it is. Okay, this is pretty much where price went to. We went very deep into it, maybe even just beyond it, and this is where we managed to onboard some buyers. So that's what we have for the time being. So for the time being, I would say that we're likely going to wriggle higher, also because we established a new buy zone at demand. And the only clear sell zone, I mean the major sell zone, is up here. Okay, and so price has a long way to travel based on what I can see here. There's not a lot of supply here. On the weekly chart and lower, we're probably going to see some sell zones and supply in this leg down. But on the monthly chart, I mean, this is not going to be very difficult to move through. This is going to be very difficult to move through, very difficult. Okay, but there's not a whole lot of resistance in the distribution of liquidity in this price structures. Price wriggled lower here, so I think we can safely say that we can maybe look to buy shorter term, and I say shorter term because, I mean, if we want to get in for monthly trades, well, then we should have looked to buy down here, and that trade has already happened and already taken place. And so this is going to be like kind of shorter term, longer positions as price kind of begins to probe into these sell zones on the smaller time frames above where price currently is. So the monthly chart, and we have a very clear downtrend. We have lower highs and lower lows. On the weekly chart, we are testing this area of supply. I'm just going to zoom in a little here so we can see where we had supply, beautiful supply, lovely departure. This box was drawn on the chart when this candle, when this candle here closed. So we had many months to plan this trade. Price came up to that area and then it tanked. Okay, and now price has tested this area, and so we poked into the sell zone, which was here, the high of the deepest pullback into this area of supply, and we had a retracement. Okay, so price pulled off, but I think we're probably going to look to run up to these highs again and see if we can test this area just up here, which is also quite an attractive area. So I'm thinking buying pullbacks for the time being, also because we have enormous strength in this push higher here. So on the daily chart, you notice here that we had this area here. Here we had a sell zone which started from here. So we had the candle to the left. We mark off the high of it. We tested it. We started to move higher. We rallied, accumulated, and then we popped higher. Okay, so we moved higher and away from here. So this is an interesting area. So this could be a daily area, which would probably be a safer bet because we have this nice continuation pattern here. We have nice demand formed. We have really nice departure, removing a lot of this stuff over here to the left. And we have the buy zone, which is just down here, the low of this candle that left. But I left this in, and we may or may not leave it in there. But let's go to the smaller time frames and have a closer look. So you can see that we had this one here, which is interesting. Okay, this is an interesting area. This is nice, just simply by the way the price rallied, accumulated, departed. We've formed this nice area of demand, but it's been tested. So the buy zone is the lowest low since the establishment of this, which is actually kind of beyond this, which brings this to our attention. So we could say, okay, well now we have demand, which is here, and this one's pretty much gone. So we can leave that on. Let's go to the smaller time frame yet, and you can see that we had this one here. But when I look at this on this time frame, I don't feel that comfortable buying there because price has already been back to this price point here. And so in a situation like this, well, then you have to look lower. Okay, and I'm gonna look at this little price point here. We also have this one here, which I think is very attractive. How price rallied, moved sideways for a little bit, pulled the slingshot back, and then we left. So this is also a very nice area. But you'll notice here on the half-an-hour chart, I think it's the half-an-hour chart, that we have this little continuation pattern. This is a very beautiful area. So price could easily poke into this area and then leave. And this is also below the lows of this 4-hour area of demand just here, the one that I don't really think is that exciting. So price rallied, we established a buy zone, which is the lows of the deepest area, and then we have this area of demand here on the half-an-hour chart. And I just really like this formation a lot. And you can see here, this is a stunning area. How price rallied, we moved sideways for 4 periods, and then we left. I mean, this is like, shirt tearing, like knockout departure material. I really like this. And also price did not hang out in that area for a very long period of time. Only for half an hour, and then price left. Okay, so this is a really nice area. So I'm looking to trade at that area. If this doesn't work, then we can look lower. And looking lower, we're probably going to have to go quite a bit lower to find something that's as attractive. We have that area there, and then there's nothing here until we get quite a bit lower. This is an interesting area as well, as is this one. But we also do have some micro areas. But we had this one here, which has been tested a few times. So the buy zone is kind of all the way through this. This one here is interesting, but the buy zone is through the top of it. So this is kind of the only one that's close to price that I think is an interesting buy. So this is what I think currently for the Australian dollar, American dollar. Okay, so let's clear off all of these. Go back to the monthly, and then we're gonna just run through some pairs. I don't remember which one we went to, so we'll start. Actually, maybe we actually went through all of these. Let's go. You know what? I'm going to spend some time on the 4-hour chart today. I'm only going to look at the 4-hour chart, and I'm going to walk through what we think could happen on these different pairs. So what I'm looking for, I go like this. I'm looking for departures, sharp departures from a rectangle. We had one here. Software found it, price came to it, we left. We have another one here, but this one is not interesting to me because we've already traded here, here, and here, and here. This tells us the sell zone is the high of this area here, so price will likely go through that, and it will look for something else. And I'm thinking something here or something like that, probably something like this. So it'll probably go up to here and then move away from there if that's what it decides to do. Okay, this is just, there's too much trading in this area, so you want to look to the highs of the mess. So you look and you say, okay, this is a nice area. No, this is a mess. Okay, where does the mess stop? It stops here. Then we have clarity. Okay, this is clarity, this is chaos. Clarity, chaos. Okay, clarity, chaos. You want to be trading in clarity. You do not want to be trading in chaos. Okay, so we have that. So for this one, I really wouldn't do anything. Look at the pound American dollar. I'm actually in this trade here, waiting for it to work. And this is, again, here we have clarity. Okay, we had this one here, which was tested. Price went through it. We had another push through it. So I'm thinking that price will likely kind of have a bit of a bounce there. Here we have clarity, chaos. My exit to get out of this trade is at the highs of where this mess, this chaos exists. Okay, and my stop is 2 times the size of this area of demand. So I don't know what's going to happen. Let's have a look what it looks like. Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for price to distribute. So liquidity to distribute. I'm thinking, yeah, we're on a nice area. Price is visiting this area once, twice, a lot of times, and so we're beginning to kind of fill these orders here. I mean, we've been filled. As you can see, we're just here, and I'm just waiting now for this to figure out what it's going to do. And it hasn't done anything yet, and so I'm kind of waiting for it to do something. We had a push higher here, but we had a huge push lower. So this could be the market kind of searching for liquidity. So we're trying to maybe flush out some stops, or we're trying to advertise these cheap prices, but we seem to be kind of keen on being on this area. So I think if price manages to have a run lower, then we should see a short-term rally long enough for us to get out of the trade. And for the target, I mean, look at this, how we had demand, test, deeper test, price sat on it, we cut through. So here we have clarity, we have mess. So the next logical area would be somewhere like that to get out of the trade. Okay, support becomes resistance. The sell zone is just here. So this is going to be an optimal place to get out of the trade. Will we get there? Absolutely no clue. We just have to put on enough of these and let the probabilities play out. Okay, let's have a look at the American dollar, Japanese yen. I like this. Mess. You can see chaos. This is clarity. This is chaos. This is all chaos. So you don't want to be trading anywhere in here. You want to be looking for these really nice, healthy, shit-turring, as I call them, departures. Okay. This is okay, but it's a little bit messy, I think. And so, I mean, for this, if we just focus on what we can see, you look at this. No, I'm going to sell a lot higher. I'm not going to buy. The euro American dollar. I like this area down here. This is just kind of price kind of moving sideways. We have these high lows and then a big pop north. Slingshot was pulled back, establishing the buy zone, and now price is up there. Okay, there's nothing to do here. Mess. This is kind of the only clean departure from here, and the price is kind of traded in and around this area here without really caring about this price point historically, and then all of a sudden we had this moment of clarity. We had an imbalance in supply and demand, and it originated from this area here. So I want to put my stop below the lows, and fingers crossed this will have a bit of a bounce at that price point. Have a look at the American dollar, Canadian dollar. We have this. Our price, we form this. This is kind of the parent. This is a child, but this is a messy parent, and so I'm expecting price to move probably through this. Okay, up to the highs of the mess. So here we have chaos, here we have clarity. We have kind of chaos here, we have clarity just here. And this looks like a pretty interesting area. You could argue that price has traded in this price point before, and you would be correct because price has certainly traded around this area historically. The price traded in this area without really caring much about it, and then we left. And the point at which price moved below these lows here, I mean, the slingshot was pulled back to here, and then we move lower. Okay, so this is the beginning of the sell zone for this area of demand. Okay, let's have a look at the euro, Swiss franc. I don't think I have anything on there. I do. So we have clarity, mess, chaos. This is clarity. This is also clarity, a little bit messy, so I'd probably want to go to the lows of this area. But if we look in here, I can't really see here, but this is essentially the top of this area of supply. So if we go to the 1 hour and try and find out why I thought that'd be a good idea, it's because we had this area here that was established, price came down, the slingshot was pulled back, and then we left. Okay, and so we also had this one here, and this is also an interesting area because we had demand. was tested, price sat on it, and then we left. So you could say, well, actually, maybe this is a better area. And that wouldn't be a poor assumption at all, because this is the one that was strong enough to cause prices to trade below this low. If we have a look on maybe on the 30-minute and have a closer look still, maybe we can adjust it. Now you can see this is a pretty interesting area. The departure of the candle is a little bit lower around here. Okay, so that could be interesting. That's like a short pause, boom, gone. The shorter the pause, the better. So this is a very short period agreement telling us that there's an enormous imbalance at this price point. So historically, when price returns to these areas, it respects them and it leaves. Okay, we have this one here, but there's a lot of messing around there. Actually, this is how price formed this area. We tested it, we left, we came down, we sat on it, we cut through. So we'll probably have a reaction at this area as well. But for the time being, this is what I'm looking at just here. Look at the Australian dollar, American dollar, the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff here that's interesting. You can just see how it's just a lot of sideways price movement. And so you want to find these areas that were respected. Stuff like this. Tested, price left, slingshot was pulled back, departure. So we actually do have a buy zone. Kind of here, the bottom of this low. And then price left. But for me, this doesn't look pretty. I look at this, and in a split second, I already know that I don't want to trade it on this time frame. But you can obviously go to the daily and say, actually we have this nice one here. So you could look at this and depart. Or you could look at this. Okay, here we have clarity, mess. You want to trade below the mess, where we have moments of clarity. And here we had one day of clarity, and then departure, and then price moving sideways. So price will not stop. Price will commonly move through price structures that look like this. Okay, so you want to be a little bit patient and wait for price to move through it, because it often does. Okay, let's have a look at the euro British pound. What do we have here? Well, we have, let me go like this. So we have this, which is kind of price move down, move sideways, we left. Here we have the mess that I speak about. The higher the mess is here, this is the beginning of the sell zone. Price comes to it. We go a little bit deeper next time. Stop it. A little bit deeper next time. A little bit deeper next time. And our price is looking to maybe challenge this area of supply, poke deeper into this sell zone, and maybe even move higher. But I marked off this area down here. Let's have a look why. I don't remember why. So let's scroll and have a look. Yes, how we had, if we zoom out, and again, you can see that this price structure started, this is the departure that did it. Price rallied, we pulled back the slingshot, and then we left. So I'm looking to buy at the area of demand that is just below the buy zone for this whole price structure just here. We also have this one here, which I really like as well. Just here, price came pretty close to it, but it didn't stick around. This one right here, this is just a really nice, we have an agreement in price rallies, and then we move sideways, and then boom, we have, and this is mess, this is clarity, we have enormous departure from the area around here. Go like that, yeah. So price came close, we didn't quite get there. So that didn't do anything, but in a situation like that, I mean, you don't want price to move to the opposite side of the market and fill orders and then come back down to your entry if you're too close to where price currently is, because then price will typically flush this out and move down to fresh areas. Okay, so that's what we have there. This is potentially a pretty nice area down here. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe that stop is a bit tight. We'll have to maybe, I'll look at that later on, but I'm thinking that we could. Let's see what this is doing. If we remove this, it's going to draw some areas for me. Okay, so let's have a look at how big we would like this area to be. So assuming that we were going to get in there, we want to have, I mean that's a good enough one. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to flick it on. Good. And then I want to move it down to that area that I could see on the 1 hour, which is here. Right there. Right there. Huge release above this high, deep into here. Price pull back, the slingshot was pulled back, and this is the one that left. So price had to come down to this price point in order to move above this high and remove everything over here. This one here as well, which was tested. So that is where I want to be. Now we have a little bit of a bigger stop, so I'm feeling more comfortable with that. You could also move it down here. Could also do this, where you go down to the 30-minute chart, and you keep going down to the smaller time frames, and then until you find those, you know, like just perfect clarity. Okay, perfect clarity. And you can see maybe even the 50-minute chart, and you can see here how we have price rallied, it came down, it rallied, accumulated, rallied, price came down, then it left. So we actually could do something like this. It's kind of the price pulls back and then rallies. So that could be an interesting area. This is below this mess. This is not a beautiful scenario at all. Just looking at this now, it's not super beautiful on the daily. Yeah, we could even have a look down here. I really like this one here, but it's really far away. So we'll try and grab something a little bit closer to price. But we'll leave this in there and see what happens. On the hour, it looks pretty nice. Euro, Japanese yen. I like this one here. I chose to go a little bit lower. Let's see why. I don't remember why. Yeah, here, because this is where price kind of came back, we rallied, moved sideways, and then left. So this is just a very nice pattern, kind of a U formation, where price comes down, we accumulate, and then we leave. Okay, price rallied, and this whole area, once again, where are we? This whole area here is standing. It originated from the pullback of this area here, and this is like a really nice area of demand, just at that area then, just like a huge, almost like a one-way departure north. Price moves sideways, and then this is where we moved above this high here. So that's what we have there. Let's look at the Euro Canadian. I mean, looking at this, there's nothing to do, it's just sideways. So we're probably go to the bigger time frame. Now you can see, but it's really far away from price. Move to something else. Euro Aussie. We tested this one. See what that looks like. Yeah, how like price rallied, accumulated, departure, and this price has not been back to this since it left, and this whole thing is standing on this little area of demand. Price finally came back to it. We poked into it. We had an enormous reaction, so that was nice. Let's move to the pound franc. On here, we reacted already to something historically on the left. This one here, how price left, tested, dump. As we can, this is one of those less aesthetic areas of supply, but price did leave there. If you look at this, the beginning of the sell zone was the high of it, which is there. This is pretty much where price came to. Actually, it went almost through the area and then left. We had this area here. Price tested this area. This one removed it. Price tested it, re-referencing that area of demand, now becoming supply, and then price is just wriggling south. So here, let's have a look at pound, Japanese yen. I'm not sure what this is. Looking at something down here, I'm not sure what that is. It could be an hourly entry. Let's have a look. Yeah, so our price rallied, we pulled back, we rallied, the slingshot was pulled back, and then we left. So you could argue that, as a matter of fact, I mean, this is where it all came from. Just here. But looking at this, I mean, this is not like a terribly attractive area. I'm just going to remove that. Put back on the 4 hour. I have to wait. This is actually a pretty cool area. I like how price left from here, rallied, accumulated, rallied, slingshot, departure. So this is actually the area of demand that is responsible for this whole price structure here that moved above all of these highs here. So this could be an interesting area down here. Let's have a look at the franc Japanese yen. Supply tested, a rally to it, accumulation, departure, buy zone, testing the child, moving into the buy zone, moving deeper towards this area of demand, and this is where price is kind of nestling for the time being. Nothing to do. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. This is gone. This is washed out. No, I don't think so. This one. No, the price has kind of already been through this area. Again, mess. This is chaos. This is clarity. So we have clarity. The kind of clarity I like, which is down here. We have something like that. The 8630. I think that's dandy. If we look here, what do we have? Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty interesting. You could kind of do something like that, just marking off the parent, but it kind of originates from this area here. You could also argue, yeah, what about this one? Well, that would also be true. Our price kind of, we just want to find something that tested. We had something in here that was tested numerous times. Tested, price pulled back, slingshot, and then we left here. So you could test one of the areas that has not been, sorry, you could trade one of the areas that has not been tested. This is the one that caused price to move through. This is kind of the origin of that move through. But there's nothing here, looking on this time frame, there's nothing to do, at least for me. Australian Kiwi. Yeah, nothing to do, just a lot of sideways trading. There's no disagreement. What about here? Yeah, this has been tested by this has been tested by this has been tested here, sideways, parent, child. So price will easily move through this. So there's nothing to do here in what I can see. Canadian Swiss franc. This is lovely. I like this a lot. I also like this a lot. Our price rallied up to this area of supply. We pulled back, established a buy zone. This is the demand. I'm just going to go like this, something like that. This is the buy zone here. Price has not been back here. This is 60, 68, 62. Okay, we came price. We tested this one here. Price rallied. Slingshot was pulled back. We left. The origin of this move here that moved above these highs is this one here. Buy zone, test, departure. Okay, I like this one a lot because it's just a very nicely formed area. So you could say, well, okay, let's consider this for just a moment. We want to go to the half an hour chart and look inside, see what that looks like. And so let's zoom out. I'd rather zoom in, and you can see how price came down. We moved sideways, and then we left. Is this chaos or clarity? That's right. So this is the one that I would be keen on looking at. This one here. This is just kind of price poking. This is the distribution of liquidity. Price going higher, departing, wriggling higher, like so, and then dumping, slingshot, release. So here we have the sell zone, and here we have the supply. So I'd be much more comfortable selling there than I would anywhere else. And is this pretty high up? Let's have a look. Yeah, this is pretty high up. This is actually in this area of kind of messy supply. So I think that's a pretty interesting area just up there for that reason. Let's have a look at something else. The Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, getting close to 30 minutes. We might shut down soon. So we had this area here moved above all of this stuff here. Okay, the buy zone is here, the demand is here. Our price came down, we came up, we tested this, then we left. Not stunning, but I just like the way how the price left. There's a lot of clarity in here, but there's a lot of kind of chaos in here, so I'd probably jump over that one and keep looking. If we look here, chaos. There's nothing really to do here. This is on the 4-hour chart. Obviously this could change on a different time frame. Yeah, there's a lot of trading around here. This is kind of chaotic price movement. We had departure, test, release. So we have maybe something in here, maybe something in here, certainly something in here. But I shan't touch that. Just looking at this, just running through these areas, there's nothing here. Yeah, I mean, this is interesting how we had micro demand tested, consumed, and it originated from here. So what we could do, we could say, okay, we're going to mark off 2 times the size of that, and we're going to go down to the 1 hour chart and have a look inside, so we can find what that looks like, find the one that's responsible for doing that. And you can see how, oh, I mean, look at this. Is this chaos or clarity? It's chaos. Sorry, looking at the wrong area, but I like this a lot. I like that a lot. We have this one here. This is also interesting how price kind of moves sideways and then just cuts away. But there's a lot of trading throughout this area, so I think we'd be better off trading the one that's lower. This one here just looks a little bit more interesting, but there's a lot of trading in here. Again, you couldn't see this on the smaller time frames, could you? But on the 4 hour, you see, wow, this is actually really messy. So I mean, it would make more sense to consider maybe this here, this one here, or this one here. Maybe looking a little bit high. We have something here. Price established sell zone, then we left. But yeah, I mean, not like stunning. Kiwi CAD. Yeah, this one's interesting. Our price kind of came down. We rallied. We moved sideways, and we left. We marked. We kind of have this kind of attempts to move down. We moved down into this. This buy zone is here. We tested it. Went a little bit deeper again. And this is the parent. We kind of established this child area. Price went through the child, went to the parent, and so moving through to the parent, we have this. The buy zone is established right there. This is the 84.77. Then we have this below price. Let's see why I mark that area off. Let's go to the 1 hour and look. See, looking at this, that's not an interesting call, is it? If you look at this, chaos or clarity. Chaos. Clarity is here. So I wouldn't trade that. I'd leave this one. This is much nicer. Okay. We go to, so we'll do one more. This is the last one. Here's a lot of mess. Here we have clarity. Even though they're a mess though, I mean, look, we had a mess, price went up to it, we tested it. We have to try and stack the odds on our order, and you can do that by asking this question: do we have chaos or do we have clarity? This is just messy. This is clear. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we have. I'm going to log off now. We're going on 33 minutes. I'm going to jump upstairs and start getting dinner organized. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button. If you think someone would see value in this, you can share it with them. And if you have any comments, please drop them in the YouTube video or in the Discord channel. Again, thanks so much for watching.